Hi everybody, my name is Timothy Hode, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Boss RC-30 dual track looper or loop station. I made a video fairly recently of the guitar pedal I always use in my live shows, which is the Boss VE8 Acoustic Singer, but every now and then I'll add this pedal to the roster just to give me a bit of diversity when it comes to live looping. Maybe you're new to live looping and want to know more, or you've had this pedal on your radar for a while. Either way, I'll go through exactly what this pedal does and what it can offer you, and I hope it helps. For your reference, I've made time markers down in the description below, so if you want to know something specific, click the time marker and it will jump ahead. So, if you're interested in live looping and want something a bit more advanced than just a one-track loop where you're layering over the same recording, I would thoroughly recommend this pedal as it gives you a two-track recording feature with the ability to play, pause, drop loops in and out on each separate track during a song, which gives you a huge amount of flexibility to keep your loops interesting. However, in my personal opinion, it does have some slight shortfalls which I'll come to, but this pedal is great and does offer a lot with the quality and build you'd expect from Boss. So let me break it down thoroughly with some tips, insights and personal opinions along the way. Let's start with the left pedal. When you turn the device on, which occurs when a guitar jack is plugged in, but note there's no power switch, which we'll come to in just a moment, you're brought to the first track ready for looping, which is track 1 on the left side of the mixer, which we'll also come to in just a moment. Simply press the guitar pedal when you want to start recording your first loop, and press it again to end that loop. But note, you'll still be in recording mode when you finish your first loop, in case you want to add another layer instantly without waiting for the loop to come around again. It's quite a handy feature so that you're not making a song overly long, but just bear in mind as you might record something accidentally if you're not looking to add another layer at that point in the song. So press it again to turn the recording feature off. This won't affect the playing loop. If you want to stop the loop from playing entirely, press the right pedal once and the track will stop. Press the left pedal and it will play again. You can also turn on the effects feature by double tapping the left pedal, but we'll come to that in more detail in just a moment. So this is the main reason why you'd want to buy this pedal. Whilst your first loop is going, you have the ability to add another layer. I found that adding a second layer is wonderful for making a song not feel too repetitive if you're using the same melody or chord pattern all the way through. To record a separate track, press and hold the right pedal to switch over to track 2 in the mixer. Alternatively, you can press the select buttons under the faders here, but personally it's much easier to just press and hold the guitar pedal with your foot, as when you're playing an instrument you won't always be able to manually change the tracks with your fingers. But if you're not playing an instrument and you're doing an a cappella version of a song, then maybe this option is for you. Another alternative that's even easier, you can plug in an external foot switch pedal to switch between track 1 and track 2 with a simple press as opposed to a press and hold, but I'll come to that again a little bit later. So on track 2, the play and pause commands work exactly the same as track 1. Something that I didn't realize for ages was that you can undo and redo a loop, which I found really helpful. Sometimes when you're looping you might make a mistake with timing or notes, so if you press and hold the left pedal, you can undo the layer that you just recorded, leaving you free to record it again. If you're really savvy, you can use this feature as an unofficial third track, but bear in mind you'll only be able to control it stopping and starting, and you'll have to be really good at the timing because of pressing and holding the pedal to activate the undo or redo feature, and you also can't control the volume of it separately like you can with track 1 and track 2. But it's a great feature to give you a bit of flexibility that you can use to your advantage. The pedals are really sturdy and can take a hammering, so don't worry about needing to be gentle with them. The loop effects is a generous feature that manipulates your loops with some unique sounds to help add some creativity and variety in your performances. Simply select the effects you want by pressing the type button. You can also activate the loop effects by pressing the on-off switch instead of pressing the left pedal twice. The effects you have are bend down, step phaser, sweep filter, tempo delay, and lo-fi. It's a nice flourish to add and works out really well with both guitar and vocals. As you might have guessed, to turn off the feature, just double tap the left pedal again. Okay, so next we have the track faders. Very simple, these faders will adjust the volume of your loops on each track, which I found really helpful for volume balance, especially if you have some percussive elements that record a bit too hot and you just want to tame them in a bit. The buttons underneath, as said before, is a faster way to flip between the two tracks. In the center of the control panel is memory. One of the best features about this pedal is that you can save your loops. So if you're coming up with an idea, or if you make a particularly good recording that you're quite pleased with and you want to use it again, simply press write and it will remember everything you've recorded on both tracks in the assigned bank. There's 99 banks in total, which is very generous. To expand on this great feature, you can connect the unit to your computer or Mac and install loops without the need to record it. A good tip is that if you work from backing tracks, you can save them so long as they're MP3s to the pedal and it will play them in full. They'll even react to the effects feature too if you want to use that. Something to bear in mind is that from first-hand experience, it's difficult to gauge how loudly the pedal is going to play your backing tracks or installed loops, so if you can, turn your fader down and dial it up when you start your backing track or pre-installed loop to get the right volume. I've definitely nearly blown away my audience's eardrums by not realizing how loud the chosen track is going to be, so test it out first. It's a really great feature, however, if used correctly. And vice versa, you can download recorded loops from your pedal to your computer. The delete button does what you think it does, it clears a bank ready for a new recording. The up and down arrows cycle through the memory banks accordingly. This is a feature that I don't use often enough, but it is really useful, particularly if your type of music needs a bit of a beat to it. It will give you a basic drum beat at a set tempo. There's two ways to set up the tempo. The first is to tap the right pedal to the desired tempo, or to tap the tap tempo button the same way to set your tempo. The volume is adjusted with the output level dial. You can, however, change the drum sounds by pressing type. Some of these aren't that natural sounding to me, but I don't think it's meant to be anything fancy, and will give you a desired beat to help pad out your songs. The on-off button works the same way and does what you'd expect it to. This is simply the input level of your mic as you'd expect. Simply turn the dial to increase and decrease the input level. Something to bear in mind when it comes to recording your loops. Unlike the VE8 Acoustic Singer, for example, that I reviewed recently, this pedal, if you have both the instrument and microphone running into it, will record everything. So there's no option to record just the instrument or just the microphone, and you can't select a preference. If you've got a different setup where your microphone's going into a different device, you don't need to worry about that. But if you have everything going into this pedal and then out to something else, if you're singing and recording and you don't mean to capture your vocals, just bear that in mind, it will capture everything. So let's have a look at connectivity. On the back, there are multiple ways to connect your unit to speakers, desks, and whatever you want to plug into. We'll work from left to right again. This is an XLR connection for your mic, pretty straightforward, but if you're using a condenser mic, you have the option here to have it phantom powered, which is really helpful. Here you have an auxiliary input, which is great if you work with backing tracks, drum machines, whatever separate device you might have. Just bear in mind though, the guitar pedal won't record the auxiliary input. I like using my phone's GarageBand for drum machines, for example, but I know I'll have to use a different setup for the unit to record the drum inputs, as it won't record it directly through here. So this is where you plug in your instruments using a jack connection. You have the option to make it stereo, but if not, just plug it into the left channel and it will make your signal mono. The output is also via jack connection, same as the instrument in, with the same option for stereo and mono. Also, the device powers on by plugging into the left mono output jack, which to me seems a bit odd. I wish there was a switch to turn the unit on and off, as it seems unnecessary to remember that whatever you're plugging into, like a speaker, that needs to be off so you don't make a horrible noise when connecting and disconnecting. It's not a deal breaker, but I feel like it would have been a helpful feature. Whilst we're on the subject of slight cons as well, the only other glaring omission that I think would be really helpful is the need for a headphone out connection. Quite a few times I've wanted to rehearse through headphones instead of a speaker, and it seems unnecessary to have to get other devices like mixing desks or external speakers to plug into just so I can use the headphones from there, when this could be resolved with a simple option of having a headphone connection like the auxiliary in. These cons are very minor against what you get with the unit, and of course they're just personal preferences, so take it with a pinch of salt. So I got pretty tired pretty quickly needing to press and hold the right pedal to switch between the two tracks, especially in the middle of a song. So I purchased an external foot switch pedal. This is the Boss FS5U, which is perfect. One tap and you can switch between the two tracks instantly. I think you can connect different Boss foot switch pedals to it, but I'm not quite sure what features that will give you. Might be worth doing some external research on that one. I will say though, this is one of the best features about this pedal, that you have the option to connect external foot switches. You don't realize how much it helps. Another great feature this pedal has is the ability to connect it to your computer to install loops and MP3s onto the banks, or to export recorded loops if you want to use them in a project. As far as I'm aware, I don't think you can use this particular pedal as an audio interface, especially if you're wanting to record directly into your DAW, for example, so it might be worth investigating if you can do that. So lastly, the unit runs from either one of two power sources. One is a direct DC plug, and just be aware that this is not supplied in the box. And the other is underneath. It will run on 6 AA batteries for quite a long time, around 10 hours I believe. And it's so great for busking for that reason. Just a tip and something to remember, if you're taking this unit out specifically for busking, just remember that the signal is going to be bone dry, as you don't have any reverb options here, so make sure your amp or another pedal does. So in conclusion, this device is really great. It's incredibly solid and sturdy that you'd expect from Boss. It's got 2 tracks, which is great for looping versatility, some cool effects to keep your audiences interested, and a simple drum machine to add another layer onto your loops. It's versatile enough to be used as a floor or tabletop looping unit, able to import and export recordings or files both as MP3, and the ability to connect a foot switch if desired. With all this, I think it's a very generous pedal for its price tag. It's a step up from entry-level looping devices or pedals, and saves you forking out quite a few £100s or dollars for something advanced. I think it's a very supportive middle ground. I think it would benefit from some smaller, simple features that I'm surprised aren't there, like a power switch, a headphone jack, and maybe some general reverb, and the option to record just guitar or just vocals would be very welcome. But they're personal preferences and are very small in comparison to what this unit can give you. Perfect for rehearsing, for hashing out some ideas you want to come back to because of the save feature, for busking, live performance, a myriad of uses. And to be honest, I'd recommend as an essential tool for expanding your creativity. So that's my review and my opinion of the Boss RC-30 loop station. Let me know what you think, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Thank you very much if you've made it all the way through to the end of this video. Maybe you've got this pedal yourself and you know something that I don't, or you want to leave some feedback of how you find it. I'll be very interested to know. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see if I can find some more pedals to review in future. Thanks very much.